Hello. Okay, old school movie reviews. This time we're gonna do A Better Tomorrow Part 3. Um, I picked this one because, well, I was gonna do a John Woo movie, but then I thought, well, a lot of people are hip to John Woo, and why not pick like a more obscure action, Hong Kong action flick. This originally came out, I think, in 1989, somewhere around there, and this is actually a prequel to Better Tomorrow Part 1. Um, at the end of Better Tomorrow Part 1, Chow Yun-fat is basically the star. He plays a character named Mark, and he dies at the end of that film. They did Better Tomorrow Part 2, where he comes back and he's all of a sudden Mark's long lost, twin brother from America or something crazy like that. So here, Better Tomorrow Part 3, this is a prequel, so the events in this movie take place before A Better Tomorrow Part 1. This was directed by Tasu Hark, who's actually a pretty famous Hong Kong action director in his own right. Most people in America probably know him from doing the Once Upon a Time in China movies with Jet Li. He also did, I think, one of the Black Mask movies again with Jet Li. And I want to say he did an action movie with like Claude Van Damme, and right now the title escapes me. I think it was the one with Dennis Rodman in it. I'm not 100% sure. Um, so anyway, the story for this particular movie is Mark goes to he goes to Saigon. Actually, just a little backstory here. Like I said, this movie was the sequel to Better Tomorrow Part 1, which was directed by John Woo. Originally, Tasu Hark was going to produce this film along with John Woo, but they ended up having a falling out regarding the plot. So Tasu Hark went and made this movie by himself, and John Woo went off and made another movie called A Bullet in a Head. And if you compare the two films, up until a certain point, they're actually very, very similar as far as themes and settings and things like that. But anyway, the plot to Better Tomorrow Part 1, Part 3 here is Mark has come to Saigon to live with his cousin and uncle, and he's coming to town. He's going to be a hustler. He's going to make his fortune. This, that, and the other thing. Thing is, it's the mid '70s, and it's the fall of Saigon. Vietnam is falling apart. Everybody's trying to get out. So Mark and his cousin decide, well, you know what? We need to hustle up money however we can. We need to do what we got to do, and so on and so forth. They end up uh, running along or meeting up with this woman played by Anita Muo. And she's kind of this pseudo femme fatale type person. She has all the underworld connections. She knows this person, she knows that person. And they kind of get involved in some shady deals. Anita kind of takes a shine to them. She's starting to fall for Mark. The cousin's got eyes on her as well. She kind of introduces the two of them to the underworld and how to run guns, and she teaches them how to shoot and so on and so forth. She gives Mark this jacket that he actually ends up wearing, that his character wears in the first movie, that actually became a very popular thing among young Chinese guys, in Hong Kong in real life. But anyway, the conflict comes when, like I said, it's set against the backdrop of the fall of Saigon. So there's crooks, there's criminals, there's corrupt generals running around. And at one point, Mark's family does get out, but he's kind of pining for her. She's kind of pining for him. But what happens is her ex-husband comes back into the scene. He's still in love with her, of course. He's come back to regain his position as as a, criminal warlord type guy. Well, I don't know if I want to say warlord, but, he's the godfather. He's running the streets. And so that's where the conflict comes. Then Mark wants to come back, into the picture. And so there you go. You've got the love triangle. You've got the criminal underworld stuff. You've got the army stuff going on. Lots of people get shot up. Lots of things get blown up, and there's a big tragic romance on top of it. This is a very, very entertaining film. The story is strong. The narrative flows in a really I don't want to say at a steady pace, but then you're never bored with it though. You're never bored. There's never any point where you're thinking, "Oh, come on with it already. Let's get to it." This has all the hallmarks of this style of a Hong Kong action flick, though. You've got the slow motion gunshots. You got the double pistols. You've got fire. You've got just everything's over the top. It's grand. It's big. It's sweeping. And like I said, at the same time, it's got a real heart to it. You feel for the characters and the things that they're going through. Um, I would recommend this flick to obviously anybody who likes Chow Yun Fat, anybody who likes old school Hong Kong action flicks. You know, I think the term they were using at the time for these John Woo movies, Tsark movies, and things like that, Ringo Lam movies, was heroic bloodshed. And the whole thing is, all the violence is done in a very stylistic manner. Everything you see in most modern action movies that come out these days, the slow motion, the cheesy wire fu, well, there's not any wire fu in this one, but all those sort of things, all the sort of weird camera pans and whatnot, got its start in these movies, got its start in Hard Boiled, The Killer, all these sort of things. These things were a big influence on Quentin Tarantino. So, like I said, I would recommend this to anybody who likes a good tragic romance. I would recommend that to it. If you're a guy and your wife likes action movies, she'll definitely love this. Anybody who's interested in Quentin Tarantino, anybody who's interested in, if you've heard things about John Woo, if you've seen movies like The Matrix, anything like that, you would love this movie. Now, the version I got online, and it's the Hong Kong version. So I don't know if there's been an official American release, or even if there was, if it's still in print. I would say if you've got a specialty store that sells like indie movies or foreign movies, check it. Go ask them about it, or just prowl online. I'm sure you'll be able to find, if not a used copy, definitely somebody selling a new copy on Amazon or eBay or somewhere like that. Anyway, thanks for listening. Tell me what you think. If you think I'm full of it, tell me that. If you think you agree, if you've got some flick that you want to turn me on to, let me know. Once again, thank you very much, and you have a good one.